years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
I sing. Oh yes, this is it. This is the Ramble. It goes till midnight tonight on the East Coast of the United States. Oh yeah, and here I am. See, I made it tonight. Listen, in a moment you're going to hear an interview with Ronnie Bennett. And I did this yesterday. Now, if you think my voice is a little hoarse now, wait till you hear it yesterday. I mean, the reason I didn't do a show last night was I'm like this. Nothing was coming out. Here we are, and we're going to do some shows for the rest of the week. Then next week, let's see, Tuesday and Wednesday we may not be on. In fact, I'm sure we won't be on, at least on Tuesday, but because I have court. Well, I'll talk about that a little bit later, but right now, let's go in and check in with our old friend and ex-wife. Well, here she is. Ladies and gentlemen, there she is. I look forward to this. I really do.
You're wearing the same hat you did last time.
Yeah, I have a shirt to that extent under this. It's a really nice shirt, about 1939. So. But anyway, listen to me. I can barely talk. I may not do a show tonight. This may have to run on Thursday because I've got laryngitis really bad. Anyway.
So does that mean I should do all the talking?
Well, you always do it.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. So how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
We had Thanksgiving.
Yeah. What'd you do?
I went to my son's house in Salem, Oregon.
Yeah.
And they did big food. There were lots of people and big food. There was a piece of salmon like this and a prime rib too. No turkey.
Yeah. No turkey. Now, this is interesting. This is still hard for you to say that, my son. I mean,
yes,
because
it is. I feel funny about it. I mean, I'm just, you just want to identify somebody when you're having a conversation, and I always almost trip over that part and it took me a long time it's been a couple years since we met, and I think the problem is I just don't get having a son when I didn't raise that person. You know, I think you earn motherhood or fatherhood. And I didn't. I mean, it's just this full-grown person with a whole life showed up, Yeah. So saying my son is, it doesn't come naturally to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get because for years you just put your son out of your mind, although maybe every now and then you would think back to him or whatever, where he might be and whatever. And all of a sudden, I
didn't do the work of raising him. Right. I didn't go through all the times kids get sick and you worry about them, or they're doing well in school or they're not doing well in school, and all of the stuff that kids go through. I don't know anything about that. I have no knowledge. I am ignorant, and that's what makes you a mother or a father, having been there through all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I never did. So in one respect, I feel like an imposter when I say that.
What kind of word could we attach to it rather than mother or parent? Because really, it's an interesting thing that you gave this child up at birth. And then all of a sudden here, how many years later, 78, 79 years later.
No, not quite that many. More like 55 or 6.
Oh, well, excuse me. Yeah. But he pops back. He pops into your life. Yes. And all of a sudden you have to readjust your thinking about yourself and about your life.
Yes, I hadn't thought to put it that way, but you're absolutely right. What does it mean? And it's not a relationship that we much recognize. Every once in a while, there's something in a movie about tracking down a parent, And that's the most we know about it, I think, from dramatic points of view in movies or TV shows, and that we don't really have a cultural place for biological parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially biological parents who didn't raise the child.
Exactly. So it's a weird kind of situation that you have, but nevertheless, I had a kid too, if you may remember, and it was given up for adoption, and I always wondered about it. And there was a time when I was working in San Francisco, and I had a blessed amount of money. I thought about finding this kid because, again, he went into blind adoption, which is probably what happened with you, where it's hard for you to find out where the kid went. And I was going to hire a detective to go do it, to go look him up, or to see if he could find the kid. And then I decided not to, because I decided it was the kid's job to find me if he wanted to. But for me to suddenly pop into his life would be more upsetting to his life than him popping into mine. Does that make sense?
Sure. It's whatever you feel makes sense. It wasn't something I thought would ever happen because I was told that the records were sealed.
Yeah.
And that was that they wouldn't be able, he wouldn't be able to find me, or I don't know. I've forgotten all the ramifications. But the point was, I went through my life thinking that there was no way. And when I thought about him, that's the way it should be. He had a family.
Yeah, that's
Those
right.
were his parents, because they did the work of raising him and loving him and taking care of him and all of that. So I was really quite shocked in the beginning. It wasn't anything I ever expected.
Yeah, well, also,
I was totally unprepared and had no idea. I mean, what do you say? And although, I have to say that, this happened because of those DNA ancestry type tests.
yeah.
And I got an email from him. I thought it was so incredibly wonderful of his first sentence, that it was sent to me via that website. They don't hand out email addresses.
Yeah.
And the first sentence was, "Dear Ms. Bennett, apparently you and I are intimately related." I mean, what a great sentence.
Yeah. But, in spite of the fact that all these things are sealed and so on, these new DNA companies have put people together who are parents to kids and whatever, But
I mean, with me, it's worked out quite nicely. But I can imagine that it wouldn't, that there would be parents who gave their child up for adoption and went on to have a whole other life, and depending on what it is, would not be shocked in a good way.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I've never seen it discussed anywhere publicly, but I think that it has to have happened, and then what?
Yeah. Well, my kid would be somewhere around his early 60s, I think, at this point. I figure I think he's Howard Stern, actually, but I'm not sure. No, but it I don't know. I just every now and then I do think about it, and wonder.
Can't not, I don't suppose.
Yeah. But and I had no control over the situation. She had the ultimate choice to make of giving up the child.
As well she should. It's not you carrying a baby.
Well, I tried to.
What do you mean you tried to?
No, I tried to say, I'll adopt the child. I'll take the child on. And I wasn't allowed to. I had no say-so.
I'm not so sure about you being a single father. I really am not.
I think I would have been okay. I wanted it enough that I would have made it work. But I don't think I would have had the life I've had. I think I would have been strapped to raising a child and taking jobs and leaving jobs considering the best thing for the child, so where I spent my whole life not having to worry about those things and being able to make my own decisions, so. what have you, But that's wonderful that you found that.
Speaking of,
By the way, is he a Republican or a Democrat?
oh, I don't think I should speak for him. We get along. Let's put it that way.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. Speaking of relationships.
Yeah.
After our last recording,
Yeah.
one of the comments left, it seemed to be particularly so last time, was, had anybody ever told me that I look like Shirley MacLaine? And then I got 2 or 3 emails to the same effect. Those people seemed to think that I wouldn't want that mentioned publicly or something. And I don't think I do. I look at myself now, I don't see anything. But in my 30s and 40s, maybe a little into my 50s, I just want to tell you the story. Yeah. I did look a lot like Shirley MacLaine, so much so that even I could see it. I didn't think it was anything like you would say, oh, that's Shirley MacLaine. It was just a mild resemblance.
It was the essence of Shirley MacLaine.
Well, hardly the essence of it. I'll let her have that. But every once in a while, someone would stop and say, you're Shirley MacLaine. No, I'm not Shirley MacLaine. So I was working at a TV show, and the offices were in near Rockefeller Center, right. And it was a rotten, miserable winter day, and so we decided, a friend of mine, Carol, to go to lunch, underneath the street there is a whole shopping area and restaurants and all kinds of things and subway stops. So we could get to the basement there and walk through without having to get wet in the crappy weather there was that day. So we're going along, and it's lunch hour in Rockefeller Center. So even in the middle of winter, there's crowds and crowds and crowds of people. And we're working our way through. We were meeting some friends at the restaurant, and a woman came over and pointed at me, and she said, you're Shirley MacLaine. And I said, no, I know I kind of look like her, but I'm not Shirley MacLaine. And she said, oh, yes, you are. Now 2 or 3 other people. Next thing I know, there's a whole crowd, and all these women they're women mostly, and they're fishing in their bags for a pen or a piece of paper or something for me to sign. And I keep saying, no, I'm not Shirley MacLaine, I promise you. I just kind of look like her, not completely. Yeah. And they go, no, come on, I want you to sign this autograph for us and all that. Finally, Carol, do you remember that show? I've forgotten the name, The Nanny? Mm-hmm. The nanny was from Queens, and she had a heavy Queens accent.
Right.
My friend Carol was like that. She was the nanny, the accent, the colorful clothes, everything. So I'm going, no, I'm not really Shirley MacLaine. She finally elbows me and says, Shirley, sign them, we're late for lunch. So there are half a dozen people who have signatures that are my signature of Shirley MacLaine. But I was surprised because I thought I was long past looking like her to other people.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just that I think it's amazing that these people didn't take your word for the fact that you weren't Shirley MacLaine.
And I understood the resemblance, but then right up close, I didn't think you would ever mistake me for Shirley MacLaine. I mean, it was just this, just like a shadow over somebody's face.
Why would Shirley MacLaine? Why would Shirley MacLaine so adamantly deny that she was Shirley MacLaine?
And so there you go. Yeah. That's my story for the day.
Yeah. So anyway, it's I have a cold, folks. All right, don't have a cold anymore. This is what happens. Do you remember I used to get laryngitis after a cold?
No, but then I wasn't probably paying close attention. You forget you're a hypochondriac. After a while, if you're around you too much, you just kind of let it all go and flow past you because there's always something with you.
Yeah, but now I have cancer.
Jesus.
See, I told you I had something. You weren't listening.
All these years.
Yeah, all these years.
Funny.
Well, I have this as my part of my hypochondria. This thing that says, okay, what is it that's going to kill me? Something's out there lurking. Every morning I wake up.
Why would you do that?
I feel the Grim Reaper standing in back of me with his scythe and his hood, going, well, not today, but we're thinking of something, you know?
You know the appointment in Samara story?
What? No.
Do you know the story of the appointment in Samara?
No.
Oh, it's an old tale. I mean, thousands and thousands of years old. And I'm going to get maybe the relationships a little wrong, but a man is walking around in the marketplace, and Death walks by and does a double take, looking at him. And I'm going to mix up this story. It's too bad. And I just recently ran it on my website, and anyway, the point is that Death is surprised to see that guy in that marketplace, because he knows that he's coming to get him that night, and it's supposed to be in Samara, and this is in another town. And the guy had heard about Death being after him, and so he went to Samara to avoid it, and there Death was.
Oh.
And I've got it backwards, I'm pretty sure, but it's the general idea. You're not going to escape this, whatever causes it.
Yeah. But anyway, so you wonder what is it going to get me, and the doctor says the cancer I've got isn't going to get me. So the question is, what is, I have my heart's in good shape.
And are you still getting up every morning asking yourself that question?
I'm going to be 100 years old and be a hypochondriac, okay? Do
you understand that it doesn't really do you any good because it's so common with you, it's so everyday, that pretty soon anyone around you just tunes it all out?
Yeah, and it drives my wife nuts.
It drove this wife nuts too.
Yeah. We should get all my ex-wives.
How many were there in between us?
we should get all my ex-wives together, and they can talk about what got them nuts about me. And you would all agree on the hypochondria. That would definitely be
hard to miss.
Hard to miss, yeah. But anyway, so see, my voice. This is so much fun. I sound like Mel Torme. There's an old reference. Anyway, so I look at you and you look terrific. I mean,
for somebody with cancer and COPD.
Yeah, how long was it ago that you got that? The doctor saying, "Well, you've got inoperable cancer." Okay,
that was 2.5 years ago.
No, that was pancreatic cancer, wasn't it? 2.5. But I'm talking about the recent thing where you thought everything was gone, and then you got a report, and they said you have inoperable cancer.
Nobody ever said it was gone. They said that the scan, they couldn't see anything on the scan.
Oh, okay.
And that's a big difference.
Oh, okay. But
given the kind of cancer it is, chances are it's not going anywhere,
Yeah.
And so, it's growing, but very slowly.
So,
the bigger problem day-to-day life is COPD, much bigger problem.
Yeah.
We were talking before you started recording that, I just recently had a realization that I've got to pay attention to that. I walk as fast as I used to, and then I can't get my breath, and I'm heaving to get my breath. I have to do everything slower. And I haven't quite convinced myself, even though it's been several months, that's how it is. That's how you live now, and get over it and just do it.
As they say, that's the new normal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I'm, it's hard, especially, and you still live in New York. When you walk down the street, you really walk pretty fast, or you get people stumble over you and push you aside or something. And I still forget now and again and walk that quickly. And then, after a few steps, I can't get my breath. And I just, you've got to make yourself understand this is different now and it's not ever going to change.
Right. So, it's just at our age, you do find you have things that you have to live with as your new normal. And I'm probably
what I'm finding is that even though I understand that intellectually and I'm not fighting it, it's because it's irreversible. You can only control it to a degree. I understand that. I get it. I'm not arguing with that. I understand. But I'm not behaving that way yet.
You know,
automatically.
I have a friend who was doing interviews like you're doing with me on Skype for the show. He's a comedian named Will Durst, who's a comic. And he got word a couple of weeks ago, about a couple of months ago, I tried to call him, and he didn't answer the phone. And I kept trying and trying and trying, and then I did a few other things. Finally, his wife gets a hold of me. I call him at home, and then his wife answers, and she says, he had a stroke last night. Well, he had a stroke, which has kind of like ruined his ability to talk and paralyzed, I think, his right side. And I'm thinking to myself, what would I rather have? You know, something like...
How do these things even occur
well, no,
to you to
I
think
don't
about?
think... I would not want a stroke. I think that's that's worse than just about anything, because, especially if you're a performer, it takes away, it just sucks away the very essence of what you do, you know?
Well, that's anyone. You don't have to be a performer.
Well, especially a performer. I mean...
I don't
okay,
agree.
Let's say you can't talk, but let's say you, I don't know, you're good at something, you're a violinist, you can still play, you know, or something like that. He's a comedian. He needs his ability to talk, and, you know, he's a writer, needs his ability to write. You know, I just said, thank God I've got what I've got, as opposed to what he's got.
Well, you know, I thought I had cancer. Now I have cancer and COPD, so you never know.
yeah.
You don't know what you'll get next.
That's your buffet, huh? Cancer and COPD.
You know, the thing is that it's so far, it will change in time. It's the COPD that's harder to live with than except that I absolutely must take certain pills at certain times of day. Beyond that, I wouldn't know I have cancer. And it's the COPD that takes up all my time.
Where the hell did you get COPD? You quit smoking years ago.
I grew up in a home that both parents smoked, so essentially from birth I was smoking.
Yeah.
Plus, it's funny, I just ran across a general interest article about COPD a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of people get it from bad air. The air pollution causes a lot of COPD too.
Wow.
And anything that affects your breathing. People who work with chemicals and don't protect their faces and so on.
I was reading your blog the other day, and you had some article, and I loved it, and then I've completely forgotten which one it was. But it was just something you did in the last couple of days. And
was it the one about what did I do on Monday? I don't remember.
It might have been Monday too. Yeah.
It must have been Monday. Tuesday was a reader.
Yeah.
Reader story, and today is the story in the Washington Post, a story about a book of a British photographer who'd taken a lot of photographs of his very, very old mother and done a book of them. And they showed a half a dozen of the photographs, and the Washington Post writer had recently visited his very old mother, so he had some interesting takes on that. And then I rarely read comments except on my own blog, because mostly they're nasty and mean. I mean, just like that's the point of people going online or something. And there was a mixed bag on the story. But several people said, oh my God, what a terrible thing that he took pictures of his mother in that state.
What?
And another one said, I hope to God my children don't take pictures of me when I look like that.
What is wrong with them?
Yes, well, that's what I said in the story, but that's not the one, huh?
No, that's not the one. It was, let me see here. I'm looking at your blog. My $45,000 a month per month inhaler.
Right.
This I thought was a great piece of writing, in which you talk about your COPD and the fact that your inhaler is costing you $45,000 a month.
That was according to the Medicare website. Yeah. And it turns out, I didn't know this, that I knew it was a mistake. It took a lot of phone calls before I found someone who could help me out with that. But as it turns out, since then, there are a whole lot of articles on how bad the website is, where you can select your Part D drug, your new one for each year, or Medicare Advantage or whatever that you need to check again. And Medicare keeps telling all the reporters who call that they check the site, and tested it before the new site before they put it up. But thousands of people are having trouble, so much so that some people have shut down their helplines because there's just no way to do it.
Right.
So many things wrong. So I don't know. I'd like to blame Trump, but I don't suppose you.
Yeah. Well, it's not cheap being sick, but thank God there are other people paying for it. So
well, we're paying for it through our taxes.
I'm sure on my whatever treatment I have to go through, I'm going to have a fairly decent copay. It just the copay is what I don't get now. It used to be there was never a copay between your Medicare and your secondary. It took care of everything, and now you got a copay. So I don't know. I don't understand it. Life.
Well, I don't think that Medicare was ever meant to be free, but it should be reasonable.
Right. But all I'm saying is that between the secondary and the Medicare, I didn't ever pay anything, and now I get bills for these these small amounts. $25 here, $25 there for the copay, and you go, fuck you, I'm old. I need to be taken care of, I paid into the society. Leave me alone. Give me a break.
When I felt like that once, and understand, you have to understand this, is that my apartment came completely carpeted, okay? Mm-hmm. And I had a big bundle of clean clothes I'd just taken out of the dryer, and I was carrying them into the bedroom to fold up everything, and I know a sheet was dragging on the floor, and I tripped on it and fell down. I didn't skin my knee, but oh my God, did it really hurt. Both of my elbows hurt. Everywhere seemed to hurt, and I just lay there, and all I could think of was, why isn't there someone here to help me?
I want to look and see how old Shirley MacLaine is. She's 85 years old.
So she's got 7 years on me.
Yeah, I was going to say that if she was the same age as you look better today than she does. But
I think she looks perfectly fine.
She looks old, but
and so do I.
But a good old. Yeah, and you look a good old.
And she's still getting work. That's terrific.
I look like a rotting corpse. But that's another story.
Jeez, are we going to end on that note?
Oh yeah, I like always end on a big number.
Don't you have a birthday coming up?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Oh, you're not? Are you going to ignore it?
Well, I'm not going to ignore it. I can't ignore it. It creeps up on me anyway. But I'm going to be 80 next month, and
that's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one. Yeah. Every time I worry about, let me just say this quickly because we're running over. Fuck, there's no such thing as running over. It's the internet. Screw
That's right.
Running over.
There's always more room on the internet.
The other day, I came to the best, you'll love the mindset I got into about this cancer thing. I said, why do I have it? And I was reading about it, and it said, basically people who get to be older, they have a higher incidence of prostate cancer. It's part of getting old. And I said, this is because I'm 80. If I had died at 75, I would have never gotten it. So what's the trade-off here? The good news is I made it to 80, and I made it to the age where I'm going to get something like that, and they'll take care of it.
Even more important is those extra years from average to now, is that you've been relatively healthy and been able to live the life you want to live.
That's right. So, so I'll go through this. It'll be a little annoying. It'll, take the female hormones and start to cry a lot and get. I hear men get what is it? The heat thing.
Heat wave. What is hot flash?
Hot flashes. Grow a
It's
little.
so long ago for me. I can't remember the name.
My breast may grow a little bit. I may gain some weight from the hormones if I stop taking them, everything reverses itself. So, and it's not permanent. So, and the radiation, which I'd like to go through the faster radiation rather than the longer radiation, and once that's over, I'm home free, and hopefully it won't recur, and I'll be fine. And something else is going to get me, so I can still be a hypochondriac.
Oh, that's the part you don't want to lose.
I don't want to lose it.
Enjoy it.
I want my tombstone to read, "See, I told you I was sick."
How about I told you so?
I told you so.
It's a little more subtle.
Hey, dear, we've run over, but I love running over with you. This is Ronnie Bennett. She has timegosby.net, a blog which you should read about getting to be alta cacas. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
And you'll already be 80 by then.
No, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yep.
You're right.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
I'll see
Take
you
care.
then. Bye-bye.
5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yeah, we love talking with her. That's Ronnie Bennett. As you can hear, my voice is a little better than it was in that interview. Not much, but somewhat. And that's good. As I gargle and gurgle and do all those things. Let me see here. Let me open up the Skype lines here. We will. As I said earlier. Oh boy. I'm trying to clear my throat out a little bit so we don't have to. Where am I? Before we get going. Here they are. Okay. I'm gonna need these. These are my cough drops, so I don't cough in your face while I'm doing this show. And let's see. Let me open the lines here. There we go. Okay. See, I've still blown my nose. Ooh, whoa. My eyes are tearing. Yeah, here comes the Kathleen. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see here, Kathleen. We got to push the button for the 3, and there we go. There she is. Hello, Kathleen. How are you?
Hello. I'm good, but you sound puny.
Well, I am puny. You should have heard me yesterday. Well, you heard me yesterday, but you should have heard me later yesterday. We recorded that yesterday. I said I'm going to be 80 next month. Well, it is next month already. So
It is.
yeah, let me just say that. Okay, here comes Josh Wheeler. Let me see here. Josh, let's see here. He's in the number 3 spot. So there he is. Oh, okay. I don't even have to put him in there. He's already been in the number 3 spot before. Turn on your camera, Josh. There we go. Okay. Excuse me. My eyes have been tearing like crazy, and it's been a week. I've had this goddamn thing, whatever it is. So, well, what the hell? Hello, Phil. How are you?
Hey, I went to a banquet last night. I came home. I said, well, let me listen to what went on yesterday, and nothing posted. I guess I hear now you were sick.
Yeah, no way I could do a show. I couldn't talk. I had no voice left.
Yeah.
So
you could have mimed it.
I could have mimed it, but I'm not ready to do that. Excuse me if I wipe my eye a lot tonight, folks, but it's tearing and it's. I don't know what. Huh?
Is it cold in New York or snowing or what's
going on? It's cold.
On?
It's snowing. It's it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so I won't be here next Tuesday and probably not Wednesday. I have the trial on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I have to be up at 9 o'clock in the morning each day. So,
up or there?
Huh?
Up or there?
I have to be there.
At 9.
At 9
So you got to
o'clock.
be up a lot earlier than that.
Yeah. So I won't do a show on Tuesday, and I won't do a show on Wednesday. But because I don't have to be there on Thursday at 9, I might decide to do a show on Wednesday. But I'll figure that one out.
Well,
later on.
It'll be Phil free. I'll be on a plane.
Where are you going to be?
Maui. Coming back.
Oh, coming back from Maui. When are you leaving from Maui?
I'm leaving Saturday.
Oh.
Okay, so you're coming back when?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Night.
Wednesday night. Yeah. Okay, so you'll be here for the Thursday show when I'll be back doing the show.
Most likely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then who knows how much I'm going to be out during the treatments and stuff for this.
When does it start?
I have no idea. All I know is I see him on the 16th, so I guess we started soon after that, one way or another. So
you've decided on the kind of treatment you're going to go for.
Well, I know what I would like. I don't know what he's going to suggest. Okay, so.
Well, don't they usually do what you want?
They're
Make a decision.
No, I mean they'll probably offer me several options, and I'll probably take the best one. I want the one that takes the least amount of time.
That's the hammer to the head.
Well, no, that's either the cyber knife or the seeds. The seeds is overnight stay in the hospital, maybe. Some places I've read you actually just go home.
Yeah.
So,
I like the overnight stays in the hospital. They give you chocolate pudding, and
Yeah, but you also got somebody in the same room with you who's annoying.
Actually, you got, is Marjorie going to be there?
No.
No. I had all the heart operations and the prostatectomy. I had room by myself. I guess they said we're not going to stay with that guy.
Yeah, right. Well, I assume that that's going to be the situation, but I don't know that that's going to be the situation. So, I don't know. I mean, we're thinking ahead of time. We don't even know. He might just look at this whole thing and go, "Not time for you yet to have anything." Well, let's just
when
wait
David Hayjack,
let's wait a couple of months and see what happens. Hello
when
there.
David Hayjack
Hello there,
had had an operation
Let me say hello
for
to
the
Tony.
prostate.
Hello, Tony. Yeah. What?
Hello, Tony. And what happened was because they gave him some radioactive something or other, they kept him quarantined. I'm wondering if the seeds, which are radioactive, they don't let you nexus. No.
How many times?
Well, why did they quarantine
How many times
him?
do I have to say no? No.
Oh, well, why did they quarantine Hayjack?
He had a whole
because
different.
he's an asshole, or
he had a whole different thing. I don't know what he had.
He had proton therapy.
Well, proton therapy, they don't quarantine you. So he had something a little more severe than that.
Yeah.
But
crud. He had the crud.
But no, the seeds. You're radiated, and they tell you don't get near pregnant women for a couple of months, and don't get near young children for a couple of months.
I remember he said that they were giving him his food through a window, and maybe he was in jail.
And then they were running really fast.
Yeah.
Here.
He said he was confined for like 10 days or 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they did to him.
He's radioactive.
But
that's what he said.
It either worked or it didn't, because we haven't heard from him since.
Yeah, I know. Every once in a while I see a cat post from him on Facebook, but that's about it.
Yeah. In case Kathleen doesn't know, there's a guy named Hayjack.
David
Hayjack, who had prostate cancer, and they gave him some kind. He was in a foreign country, and they gave him some kind of a treatment with radioactivity, and they had to put him in a room all by himself, blocked off from the rest of the world. What, for 2 weeks or something?
Yeah, 10 days or 2 weeks.
And they fed him through a hole in the wall. They just shoved the food in, and
Well, you know what? When I had a cousin of mine who passed away, and he was young, like 42, so I was unable to attend the funeral, so I told my older brother, who was not but 25 miles away, I said, can you go to Matthew's funeral and represent us? Absolutely. So my brother goes to the funeral. Yeah. He comes home and he goes, I know what killed Dad. What? Uncle Earl told me that when Dad was in the Coast Guard, he was a dental assistant. And he was the one doing all the x-rays before there was any protection. And of course, my dad died at age 37 of a brain tumor. And, I hate to say this, but I got so fucking pissed. And I said, oh, well, you know what? They knew the repercussions. So as far as I'm concerned, go ahead, Phil.
Hey, that's why they probably was x-rays once every year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My friend Drake was a dentist.
What is that?
Yeah, and he managed a dental firm that was in the 70s and early 80s that bought the cheapest equipment, World War II dental equipment, and the x-ray machine was across the hall from his office. Well, because they saw like 100 people a day in this office and they had 5, 6, 7 dentists, what happened was, after he retired, he's 75 now, after he retired and moved to Florida, he got throat cancer. The throat cancer, they gave him radiation. It fucked up his jaw. He has a titanium jaw. He can't talk. He writes things on a pad because he lost his voice, and he can't swallow. So he's been on a liquid diet for about the last 8 years. And
leave it to you, Phil, to give us an uplifting story when I'm facing prostate cancer. Thank you. He was a really good-looking guy, and he still has great hair, but he won't go outside because of the operation. What does great hair matter if you have a titanium fucking jaw?
I know. Well, yeah, he's a little self-conscious, but he was a dentist. He was a dentist, and one of those World War II X-ray machines was across the hall from him, and he didn't smoke. So the only thing I can imagine is the same thing that Kathleen is talking about.
They didn't know in those times that was going to be a problem. They learned that it was.
Yeah.
But some people, they learn from people who were unlucky enough to die young because of that, like Kathleen's father. Yes, Tony.
It's funny. Every time I go to the dentist, I was always a little nervous, like you get trepidation. When they give you one time he was getting ready to give me the x-ray, right? The girl, they put that heavy thing on you, right? You know what I'm talking about? And I'm like, what do I really need this for?
It's supposed to protect you from the radiation.
What about the brain?
Exactly.
Hey, all they care about, if you notice, with that apron is protecting your junk.
Yeah.
Does it go over the junk? Yeah, I guess it does.
It went over my whole chest, it is kind of heavy. What do we need this for?
It's almost like a waist for me.
You probably do not need any protection at all, because the amount of radiation you're getting in one visit to the dentist isn't very much. What their problem is they have a lot of stuff, and they get a lot of, every day they're doing, as you say, 10, 20 x-rays, right? So that's why they get out of the room, move to the next state, and then push the button.
Yeah.
They wear these pins.
And it's heavy. You could feel it. It's kind of like intimidating. Like I used to get nervous over it. Like, that's why when I go for my second thing, and the lady says, I think you get x-rays. No, you don't. I got them 6 months ago. You're not giving it to me again. Just look in the mouth.
Yep.
You get me once.
The x-ray techs wear these plastic pins, and there's something on there that measures cumulatively how many joules of radiation or whatever it is
Phil, it's Roentgens.
Roentgens, okay.
Joules.
Roentgen is something that I use in my hair.
Phil's a guy who knows everything and really knows nothing at all. Okay.
Well, thank you. I was just talking about the plastic pin. You're such a fucking asshole sometimes.
He got a little mad.
No,
I'm not mad.
Phil, let's not ruin my reputation. Okay. I'm an asshole all the time.
All the time. Yeah. But the guy can correct somebody without having to put him down. That's show us, if you got a correction for something, be nice about it.
You're so knowledgeable about everything, Phil.
Well, I'm talking about a little plastic fucking pin that these people wear, and it measures the amount of radiation.
I never knew a man this stupid who knew that much.
No,
I'm kidding you.
You know, as he's in
You
his
what?
I'm kidding you.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you very
Quit
much.
being sensitive.
All right. Well, sometimes you're an asshole. Yeah.
No, don't ruin my reputation. I'm an asshole all the time.
Hey, you know what? Listen, let's end this on a positive note. You know, in lieu of my mother's passing, if there's anyone that has given me the best advice and some of the best insight, it has been Tony. You know, Tony, when it comes to messaging, for the most part, I don't message people on Facebook, but
I
you know
message a lot of people. I do.
what?
You're up my list.
Have you,
Like,
wait a minute.
message-
Kathleen, have you allowed Tony to message you?
Oh my God, yes.
I message a lot of people.
Kathleen,
People
that's
text
a
me
bad
inside.
idea. You have to
Yes.
threaten him with bodily harm if he ever messages you again.
No. I love Tony.
Because
She's like my big sister.
well, have you gotten?
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
have you got-
messages from Tony.
Oh, yeah, but
jeez.
You want to
Don't
laugh,
mess with
Alex?
Tony. I swear I will kick
you like
your
my thoughts?
asses.
Yeah.
Have you
Thank you.
gotten any of the cartoon pictures yet?
No, I saved that for you, Alex. and Jack.
Well, wait till that starts coming. You'll want to
Yes.
find out where he lives and kill him. Okay?
No, because you
Jack,
know
he
what?
goes-
There's a
he
big
goes-
joke.
House.
There's
he goes
a big
from
joke with
Hoffa-
Sean and I go,
Yeah,
Sean,
Alex,
when we
watch
fly
Hoffa.
out to New York, who do you want to meet, Alex or Tony? And this is Sean. Because Tony has comic books.
Yeah, I could take him to Midtown Comics and a couple of
Oh
horns.
my God, he was.
Yeah, he would go crazy with me for the afternoon. Give him to me afternoon. He would. Oh, I could take him to the
Yeah,
pizza
you
place,
keep Tony
Jim
occupied.
Hanley's universe. I'd be all over the
Yeah.
place. I know all my way around, so I can get there in and out with the
I
trains.
don't know. We don't know enough about Tony for you to trust your child with him. You know.
Oh,
I
my
take my niece
God,
to
really?
I take my niece with me too. How would be that? That would be
Thank
good.
How old are you now, Tony?
I just turned 50, but actually, I can't believe it. 50. I hated turning 50. I hated it.
Really?
I did. I didn't like it, Alex.
What?
I really didn't like it. I'm being
Hi,
honest.
Jeff.
Hello, Dale.
Why'd you hate turning 50?
You know why? A lot of my friends are messaging me. Oh, it's just a number. I says, it is. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm a lot like you to one degree, Alex. I sense like half my life's over. What's going to... I just have that trepidation, like I can't play basketball no more. I can't do certain things I used to do. And I don't like getting
Yes,
old.
you can
I
play
don't like getting
basketball,
old, Alex.
Tony.
I
Oh
don't.
my God.
I mean, I don't mind it. I'm warming up to it because I have that feeling like, wow, you're seeing people pass away, and now I'm like, God, I'm fit. I don't feel it mentally though,
I didn't get laid as much after I was 50. But then again, I didn't get laid as much before I was 50. So that
Did you have a hard time
nothing
turning
changed.
50? Like when you turned, did you like, oh wow? Like I
You
feel
know
like
what, Alex? You know what my son said when you said that? He
What?
said, "That poor man."
yeah, I'm afraid of growing old. I think a little bit, but
It was only a joke, Sean. I did okay after 50. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. He said, "Hallelujah."
I think when we knew each other, I was I was over 50.
No, you were 56. Because it was what, 1996?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I was 56. Anyway, but you know,
50.
I'm turning 100. Not 100. 80.
That's a big one. Try 80.
I'm turning 80, and they're trying to steal my junk from me. That's what I'm now facing. You know.
A family
They
jewels.
are not.
Well, no,
They let you keep the junk, but it doesn't work very well.
yeah.
I got bills.
In other words, it goes
Hey,
from
but
being
this guy's
something
up.
that's fun to a minor annoyance.
It's
Well, it's
good for
useless
peeing.
junk.
Yeah, it's still good for peeing.
Yeah.
I still think you should have, Phil, you should have listened to Alex and got a second opinion. Can you imagine if they made a mistake and they didn't have to take it out?
No, it was my choice to
Was
have
what
it taken
he did
out.
what he wanted to do, and that's really the
That's
patient
true.
should be the ultimate arbiter in all of this anyway. You
That's
know,
true.
If you tell your doctor, no, I don't want that operation, then he won't do it. You know.
What's that Bobby Brown song? That's my prerogative or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Breakdance in the new office.
Is Bobby Brown the guy that used to beat the shit out of his girlfriend
Yeah.
singer?
Whitney,
Yeah, Whitney.
Yeah.
he killed her, I think.
Really?
Well, maybe that was the only way he could get her to shut up. I don't know. Anyway,
Stop hitting those notes.
Yeah.
Boom.
She was good.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna be, I'm gonna see the doctor on the 16th, and the 18th is my birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Alex! I'm getting myself a throat lozenge.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what? That's a good thing.
It is. I mean, you know what? You're
Thank
shocked.
you.
Alex, for 80, I'm not just saying this. I see some of my family members for 80. They're not even like on
I'll
top
tell you
of
though,
anything
I
other than the
listened
bed.
to programs with myself, just 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and I was much better then than I am now. I'm not that good anymore.
You know what the fault is? 5-6 years ago, you had good guests. Today, you got the citizens panel.
No, that wasn't it.
I mean, you know, what? You're not working with a lot.
That wasn't
Four
it.
guys and a broad.
I mean, I was just sharper back then. Really, much
But
sharper.
we all get a slip.
Everybody
when it's
is
older.
sharper, you know, when they're younger.
Yeah. Well,
Except we don't know as much.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Josh,
Josh,
Yes.
how do
He's a
you feel
youngster.
about getting older? Why are we asking him? He's just a young punk kid.
I mean, I guess I don't really feel one way or the other about it.
That's our Jeff.
I agree with him.
You
I
know,
mean,
the other day at
I don't know.
Costco, so I'm at Costco Chill Freeze.
Mm-hmm.
So in the morning, the first place I usually start out at is the sort. And so there's like 80 pallets, and we have to it's called throw in the product. So most of the time we're throwing cheese or turkey or meat or whatever. And so some of this stuff ranges from 20 pounds to 70 pounds.
Wow.
And so I come in Tuesday and I look up at the board, and who's number one? I am. And then all the guys are like being so respectful to me, and they're like, holy shit. And I said, nothing worse than being outsorted by your grandmother.
Yeah,
Because finally one of the guys goes, how old are you? And I said, I am 55.
Now, you were number one at throwing shit? Is that what the...
I was
thing
the
is?
number one at sorting all this stuff onto the pallets. And for the most time, I'm only there for 2 hours. Then I get pulled to my regular job. And so they didn't know whether to be horrified or fascinated.
well, she's number one in throwing stuff, but the one who beats her to it is a chimp, who's there.
Very
He's
funny.
very good at.
You know, there's midget tossing, and there's a fish market up in Seattle, I think, where they throw the fish. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's
Throwing-
where I graduated high school. So go figure.
Do you know about that fish market?
Yes.
It's a public, for some sort of fish market where they're famous for
Yes.
throwing the fish.
Yep.
I don't know, you know.
Well,
I've not,
I think I was there about 100 million years ago.
well, it's
but-
another night of really heavy intellectual discussion
Yes.
on the Ramble.
Okay.
What's the temperature in Brooklyn, Tony?
Well, he's in
40
Queens.
I think it's like 47 degrees. I was
Wait a
in
minute,
Brooklyn
hold
the
on
other
a
day.
second, Tony. Echo,
Are you
what's
in
the temperature in
Queens or
Brooklyn?
I'm only 10 minutes away.
37.
Oh, it's 37.
Yeah.
My mom's
Oh,
old neighbor.
You know what it is in Walnut Creek right now?
What is-
54.
Really?
Wow. That's
Yeah.
not bad.
Brooklyn's got you beat, Phil.
Where are you again, Josh?
I'm in Ohio.
In Ohio. What's the temperature there? Do you know?
It says 32.
Wait a minute, what town are you in again?
Yeah.
I'm in a really small, like, farming community called Asheville, Ohio. It's about
Okay,
20
hold on a
miles
second.
south of
Okay,
Columbus.
hold on a second. Echo, what's the temperature in Asheville, Ohio?
It's 37 degrees Fahrenheit.
No, I don't want to know what the temperature is now. No. Echo, what is the temperature in Asheville, Ohio?
Sean.
Right now, in Asheville, Ohio, it's 34 degrees Fahrenheit.
There you go.
Tonight,
34?
low of 31 degrees.
You know what it is in Maui right now?
Oh, he's upset.
76.
He would like
It
to
is
go.
a balmy 57 in Tracy.
But they probably going to get hit with a storm any minute, no?
Can I say
care.
that there are two places that I've hated a lot in my lifetime.
Oh, I know one of them, Florida.
One is Miami.
You
The
hate
other one,
Miami.
yes. The other
Police
one,
shootout there
Worse
today.
than Tony Montana.
the other one is Hawaii.
You don't like Hawaii, do you?
I can't stand Hawaii for a couple of
Why?
reasons. Number one, well, to begin with, the sun is relentless. You
Are
can
we
wear a
talking?
shirt and you'll still get a burn. Okay?
It's not hot.
That's
Depends
how-
on the kind of shirt.
That's how
Go to REI.
how relentless it is. Okay?
Holy-
And then
yeah.
it's that fucking Hawaiian music.
Oh, my mom likes Don Ho. They play it.
I mean, that stuff is so disgusting and vile. You know, I mean,
I like
it.
You like it, Phil?
I always think about
Really?
this blue.
You know, by going to Hawaii, I get I'm trapped on an island with liberals. The whole fucking place is full of liberals.
And you want to move there.
Well, yeah, it's beautiful, but so's California, and it's full of liberals. So, what are you going to do? Everywhere that's nice is full of liberals, but you know they're all fucked up. In Hawaii, the school system's terrible. Kids don't get an education. The public school systems are absolutely useless there.
Yeah.
But it's that hot then. Wow.
It's not that hot right now. It's 76 degrees, and tomorrow Saturday it's going to be sunny. Sunday, a little cloudy on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, sunny, and the highs of 87. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be, because right now it's 50 something in Walnut Creek, and I don't like it.
We have
rather be
nobody.
with
We have
Satan.
nobody watching tonight. You
No?
know? No, it's really.
They all watched last night.
Yeah, no, I guess because I wasn't on last night. I was sick. I'm sorry. I was sick. Fuck you.
The show must
Yeah,
go
but
on.
you know
What the
what?
fuck is this?
Tuesday's show was hilarious.
Best show I ever heard.
I was pleased.
Yesterday's show, Wednesday's show, best show I ever heard.
Well, Tuesday's show is.
Tuesday's show was hilarious because all of a sudden there's no Alex, but then there's Jeff and I. So, Kathleen, tell me about your son.
Good, nice discussion. Right?
I had no idea, but in the meantime that it was recording everything we said. And then there's you. Because there's at one point where I'm telling, my son, he's like, why are these girls at school dressed like tookers? And Alex goes, oh yeah, whatever.
Well, anyway, what I did is I put together a combination of the two shows.
Right.
And there's a kind of a what we call fixed version. And so that was a clusterfuck. Nothing was working.
Oh, it was hilarious.
What I figured was Skype changed their, updated their program, but it only would work if I went and rebooted the machine. Oh boy, am I gonna be? I should have made myself tea tonight instead of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, that's the way I go.
Take some medication or something.
So, is it Saturday? Sunday we're going to see Pamela and Jeff.
If you're still alive.
Yeah, I figure
Some honey in that tea.
everywhere I look, they say that I have a 100% chance of a 5-year survival rate on this cancer. Okay. Beyond that,
What did he say about 6?
Well, no, after that they say they don't know, but if you're older, you'll probably be dead before that. And I'm going, fuck you. That's great news. Oh yeah, I got a 5-year survival rate, but if I do survive it, then I'll have it, right? Yeah.
They're telling you that just before your birthday, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I want a 10 to 20 year guarantee.
What, on me or on you?
Yeah, on you. Come on.
A 10-year guarantee means I'm going to be 100 years old. You're going to come take care of this slobbering, dribbling, peeing in
What
his
did I
pants,
tell you?
dumping in his pants.
Tony needs the
person?
work.
I need to work. God, my mom lives 10
There you
more
go.
years.
Oh yeah.
I'll-
Hey, Tony, just look at me as more work. That's what you
I-
should do.
I'll do it for free,
Hope that I
Alex. I'll
live
do
to
it
be
for free.
100, because then you can come clean up my shit.
A subscription to Depends.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. I was helping my mom in the bathroom before. She blew a fart. I says, Mom, really? The little woman blew a fart. Like you would have thought like a truck driver. I said, you gotta be kidding. She starts laughing.
Well,
smoked.
I'm
like,
sure
I'm off duty. Do I do
she's
this?
not the world champion like Marjorie. Okay,
It was a loud one too, because she puts the Depends on.
Marjorie will do them, but she tries to
Traps it.
deny them. You know,
Oh,
like
she didn't deny this, I'll
what?
tell you
I
that.
didn't do that. Did you hear something?
She laughed at me.
You know, and I go.
We blame the dog.
You know what to do, and she grabs the air freshener and sprays it. She got it by the side of her bed, and I have it by the side of my bed.
She's laughing. I'm gonna get my.
I just blame the dog.
I rip louder ones than she does, though. That's where I'm the champion.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So how you doing, Kevin?
Okay, I'm surviving.
Yeah.
Did you get a biopsy today, Kevin?
No. I'm just going in for the old probing a cigarette next week.
What do you mean probing a cigarette?
You know, I'm going to go get checked.
He's
Oh, you
going to
mean
get the finger.
He's going to
Go get checked, honey.
He's going to feel around in there and see if there is anything. I see. Well, you know, yeah, they should give you flowers or something, you know?
Yeah, you know, when you're done, you know,
Yeah. I
instead
mean,
of a sucker a cigarette, you know.
I mean,
Let's go outside and smoke.
if you're
sweetie.
going to do a reach around, at least give me something, you know?
Yeah, really.
God, I wonder, you know, I've often had the joke, you know, when I go to the urologist, I wish I were gay and then I would enjoy it. But I wonder, does a gay person enjoy going to the urologist? I don't think so. I don't think anybody enjoys going to the urologist.
No, I would think not. Yeah.
I wonder if gay people even enjoy that kind of sex. You know,
yeah,
I
they
mean,
do. Oh, they do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brought to you
that's
by
not what.
the
That's every time
testosterone
I
channel.
tried it with a woman, they weren't that happy about it.
Well, no,
Just go to one of those sites and look it up
I've
there,
had
Bill.
certain
You'll
women.
find out.
I've had certain women, and I won't say who they are, who have enjoyed that particular predilection. You know, and it's you know, but you don't do it unless they give you permission. You
Yeah.
know. You don't want to suddenly surprise them and see their eyes pop out of their sockets.
Oh, and if they're like Native American, they say "wahoo," which means wrong hole.
Too far north.
Yeah, too
Yep.
far. No, but I know, you know, gay guys enjoy it. Yeah, sure. Why not?
That's
you know,
what they
I tell you,
say.
lately I've had so much stuff shoved up there by my urologist that I don't really give a crap anymore. You know?
As soon as you go in the room, you're in the stirrups, huh?
Yeah, but no, I just go.
He's got his pants down already before they come in.
First of
What
all,
stirrups? They just bend you over.
First of all, it was the finger that I had to get used to, but now I have to get used to that whole goddamn probe, you know, sonogram probe that goes up there, and then when they do the biopsy, they decide, oh, we'll also get a staple gun and shove it up there, you know.
You wonder if there's an easier way to.
They got a little slot for a quarter where it'll vibrate or
I'm
anything?
beginning to think, but with all that they do, that you could fit a Sherman tank up somebody's ass, you know.
Hey, my son is so wide-eyed. I told him, dude, something to look forward to. And he's like,
And if the doctor says this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you, you're a liar.
No, the only time I don't trust the doctor is when he says,
doubt it.
this is going to pinch a little.
fingers up your.
I wonder if you go in there.
I'll
drunk,
have
like
to
having
say,
some
I'll
drinks.
have to say that the biopsy, I didn't really feel much of anything. I just
My mother said it was tough as Alex. She felt the pressure, like you said. My
a
sister was
little
in
pressure, a little pressure, you know. But it's like a
Yeah.
staple gun pump. But once the first one happened, and I was used to what it wasn't any problem, you know. Have you ever had one of these, Jeff? It's probably the one thing you haven't had.
No, I've done. First of all, I've designed and developed a whole bunch of surgical staplers,
Really?
So it's all your fault.
and they don't hurt. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys are-
The only thing is,
So
we're a little
mentally
suspicious
concerned.
if your surgical staple guns because they say swing line on them.
You know, these staple guns, are they putting them out of business with crazy glue? You know, they use the crazy
Oh,
glue now for a
yeah,
lot of
it's
wounds.
one of the things that's. But still, staplers are very well used.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
I love staples.
they're good.
You love staple guns, do you?
I love going to Staples with my
office
sister. I would buy-
Hey, tell your son to get ready for all this shit, by the way,
Oh, yeah.
Kathleen.
I wish I was 14
I mean,
again, I'll
he's,
tell you
he's
that.
only he's only 15 now, so he's got like, at least another 35, 40 years before this stuff starts happening to him. But
Yeah, shit. I remember when it was went to the doctor. I was in Monterey. I was going down there to get my last biopsy, and there was a kid in the waiting room, and oh my God, he was scared shitless.
That's it.
what, he was going to get a biopsy?
He was getting something, I don't know, but he did not want to be there. He was with his mom, and he was.
Look,
he
I
was
got to
sit-
tell you something. This is a fact of life. Nobody, but nobody wants to go to the urologist.
No, that's right.
Number one,
That's
they're the
right.
weirdest bunch of doctors you'll ever meet
Especially a
up
man.
with. Yeah. They're the weirdest
With
bunch of
their-
doctors you'll ever meet up with. And when you finally do meet up with them, they're more weird than you heard they were.
Well,
You
actually,
know.
mine was really nice. He's a real cool
I have
guy.
one
and
now
he-
that's
he
pretty
rode
cool.
motorcycles, and he talked motorcycles and everything. And they tells you turn around, and drop them. Like, well, what the fuck?
He's not even able to know you.
Yeah. I used to have a doctor
That was called
years ago,
foreplay.
and he wasn't a year. I used to have a doctor years ago, and he
That's
wasn't.
what it felt like, Phil.
Wait a minute.
Did he pinch?
I had a doctor years
He left the
ago.
bin.
Alex talking.
I had a doctor.
And
years
then after that, it was just this.
I always ask
Okay, is
questions
everybody
about-
through? I had a doctor years ago
Supposed to know what that
who
means.
I would go to, and every time I would go to him, and this is when I was younger, I was in my 30s, he would say, okay, one more checkup, and then he'd stick his finger up my ass.
Before you were leaving?
And then I would go, and then I come back the next time to see him, and the same thing, he'd have me bend over and stick his finger up my ass. Finally, about the third time this happened, because I understood this was for prostate, and who cares at 30? in
Why
the
does he got to keep sticking
Right,
it?
right. And I said,
He
"Why?"
said he's a dentist.
I said, yeah. I said, why do you keep doing
Oh.
this? And he says, you like it, don't you?
Oh shit!
I
He
said,
didn't
are
even
you
ask.
fucking kidding me?
He was taking advantage of it?
No, he wasn't taking advantage of
Where
me.
was this?
I don't know. I felt like I was a skater at the Olympics, and he was the doctor.
My
God.
Behind
Well,
he's good.
it's bad
No,
when
let
he
me-
when he
yeah, I'm taking
when
a
he
lunch.
reaches for the glove and then grabs the lube
Oh, yeah.
and then
Wait a
says,
minute,
"Spin it."
Kathleen is losing it.
Yeah, she's loving it. She's
I'm
loving
afraid
it.
of the
She,
doctor.
we know
I
what
think
she
it's
has to
what
go
school they
through.
There's nothing funnier than fingers up the ass jokes, you know?
We know what you know what a woman has to go through. I mean, she's having a ball with this one,
I'm a chicken.
and her son is over there in the corner cringing. She's got to unfold him.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you see Phil in the doctor's office? He'd probably be. I can put some rugs down in here. Do I get a break?
Oh shit!
Just drop him, Phil. We're not going to talk shop now.
Yeah.
Oh man!
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. I hate all the doctors. I ask them what school they go. They're like, where they graduated from. If I don't think the school's good, I tell my sister.
Well, you know
"Don't
what?
ask-" She takes me to the doctor. Don't ask any stupid questions.
Yeah.
Well, where you graduated from? That's a stupid question.
You imagine going to school for that?
Yeah, but I want to make sure he went to a good school.
What kind of movies do they watch?
You can look that shit up on the internet.
Literally.
Especially the movies.
Stupid degree hanging on the wall.
We got a couple items here. If anybody wants.
Speaking
to
of
listen to
assholes.
it. This will get our numbers up. Where are you people tonight? Why do I even
I
do
like
this?
your doctor joke, though.
Thing is that after we do the show, we get like many hundreds of people watching the reruns. You know, so that's why we do it.
I'm sure they're like, what in the hell is wrong with these people?
We got fetishes.
You want to talk about Biden fat shaming?
Oh,
or
in case,
calling- or the
wait a
liar
minute,
guy?
In case, no, let's not do that yet.
Oh,
He deserved to be fat shamed. Anyway, we'll get to that later.
You never fat shame people. You even got on me about it.
What about fat shaming?
Yeah, I pulled something off the AP in the studio that was like some 600-pound guy that they had to cut the door open to get him out.
Yeah.
And
I didn't find
you
that
said, no,
funny.
I'm not.
I didn't find that funny, but you're a fat fuck. Anyway.
Oh, fuck you. That, he's calling me a fat fuck. Just 2 years ago, he was sporting a 40, 50-inch waist, right?
Give me a 50-inch waist.
No,
I
no.
saw those pants you held up on the air.
42.
Those things could have been
42s.
made by Ahab the tent maker.
Well, don't worry. That's all coming back once I take the hormones,
Yeah.
You wrap my mother in them. And send it.
I hope you
And I'll
didn't throw
tell you,
away the pants.
that hormone therapy is not going to be cheap because you know how much are hormones.
Yeah. About $100 a pop.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, how you make a hormone. Yeah.
Don't
Refuse to pay her. That's the joke. Boy, I could make you laugh at anything tonight, Kathleen. And she doesn't want to have anybody see her laugh. She puts her head below camera range. She's ashamed of her laugh.
You're not going to be talking about if you lose that court case. The deal is the Supreme Court is queuing in on homeless crisis, whether they have the right to sleep on the sidewalk. Now, if you lose that case and the Supreme Court goes against you, you might have a problem.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah. I'm getting to the age where I just want to be a burden to everybody. You know?
Yeah.
You already are.
Current Nielsen ratings. Did you see this?
No.
Where's Gabnet?
Number one. No.
Oh, yeah.
CBS, for the last 18 years, has won what they call sweeps, which is ratings they take 4 times a year, and that's what they base their advertising rates on. So they always put the best shows on during sweeps and all the specials and this stuff, and to kind of amp up their ratings. They've won 18 years in a row, and this year, this last sweeps, they were beat out by NBC.
Really?
Yeah.
What shows did NBC have on in comparison to CBS?
It wasn't by much, okay?
Yeah.
Total viewers for NBC was 7.786 million. And CBS, it was 494 million. So that's like a difference of about 300,000 people,
Well, Bill O'Reilly gets that.
In adults, 18 to 49, though, which is the prime demographics, Fox was number 1, NBC number 2, ABC number 3, and CBS number 4.
Mm.
But in old farts, NBC was 2-3, Fox at 2-2, and CBS a 1-5. So, whatever. I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah.
Right?
You used to have the highest ratings in San Francisco in the morning, 18 to 35.
18 to 35, yeah.
Yeah, you were 6th share at Camel.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
That was like 3 times as much as everybody else.
Yeah, I did pretty well. I did good. Also did well at Live 105 too. We were not the number 1 show overall. That was KGO.
KGO, which we found out wasn't the truth.
Well, we found
once
out.
They gave people meters.
Yeah.
I had a people meter for 2 years, and I could have set it up by plugging it in, and Gabnet would have been registered if you did whatever it was that you needed to do. There was some signal that you had to incorporate in your podcast.
Yeah.
And then I could have gotten you people meter.
My sound is a very loud fart, and then it gets people meters going. Television Academy Hall of Fame has announced 5 people who will be inducted into the hall. Cicely Tyson, Bob Iger, the head of Walt Disney Company, and Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane.
Oh. Who's the other 2?
Also be inducted Geraldine Laybourne, who helped create Nickelodeon and founded Oxygen Media, and veteran television director Jay Sandrich, whose credits include The Mary Tyler Moore Show and Golden Girls. Is he still alive?
I don't know.
I don't know if he's still alive at all. So anyway, those are the people who are going to be honored. They miss me again. Now
I started watching that Norman Lear thing, the All in the Family.
Oh,
well, he's 96. No, it's not good.
The one they did way back when with Woody Harrelson and Marissa Tomei?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah, Melissa Tomei. She wasn't bad, but Woody Harrelson didn't really come across.
It was a terrible show.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
That was a big deal.
Spotify, who, by the way, our show is on Spotify, if anybody really gives a shit, named its most streamed artist of the past 10 years, declaring that, who do you think is the most streamed artist of the decade?
Barry Manilow.
And this crowd would never know. How about, let's ask Josh. Josh, who do you think?
Like music stream from them?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably like Beyonce or Taylor Swift, maybe. I don't know, something like that.
Well,
Ariana Grande.
think again. It's Drake.
Beatles?
It's Drake.
Who's Drake?
Yeah,
See,
saw those
exactly.
results.
Who's Drake?
What's
Drake?
He makes cakes.
Drake's Cakes, yeah.
I
I never heard of him.
And then,
Even my son was like,
who do you think
Drake.
came in second? This is going to make you vomit too. Who came in second?
I can't remember. I saw the results yesterday.
Ed
but I can't remember.
Who?
Sheeran. Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Next.
Do you even know who Ed Sheeran is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Followed by Post Malone. Who the fuck is Post Malone?
Yep.
This is a fix. What did Weinstein set this up?
Next.
Okay.
Eminem was like fifth, wasn't it?
Now is one that actually Schmoody mentioned a few moments ago.
Ariana Grande.
Yes,
Booyah.
absolutely. Followed by Eminem.
Yeah.
Yep. Woo.
Yeah.
You know, when the iPod first came out, I bought one for each of my daughters, and I got them a card from Apple to get them some music. And my youngest girl said, "Oh, well, I can get 50 Cent downloaded." I said, "Yeah, but they're $1.
It's 50 cents.
It's 50
right,
cent.
but they're $1 a piece." I said, "Why would you download 50 cents if you have to pay $1?" You know?
That's
That was
right.
a typical
Well, it's
dad
pronounced
answer,
it's
too.
pronounced 50 Cent.
50.
Always or
Always.
just now?
Always.
Always.
It's supposed to
50.
be. I think he's given up on that though. So
Yeah.
I keep
Yeah, he
saying
goes by his name now, doesn't
it's
he?
not 50,
Prince?
it's 50.
What's his name? Dondrell
I
Johnson?
can't even
don't know.
remember now.
Drake, I think.
That's great. It's Ariana
Dante
Grande.
Williams.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Well, I can look up. What are you talking about?
50 Cent.
50 Cent?
50 Cent.
50 Cent.
50
But it's
Cent.
$1 on Apple
Okay.
Music.
Yeah.
50 Cent.
I agree.
His real name is Curtis James Jackson.
There you go.
Whatever.
The third. The third.
50 Cent.
Yeah. So, anyway, so.
CJ squared.
Okay,
second.
here's a story for Phil to take up on. CNN has been hit with a lawsuit alleging that the cable network defamed a member of Congress.
Nunes.
Oh, yeah, Nunes, yeah.
Representative Devin Nunes of California, an outspoken ally of President Donald Trump, filed suit against CNN Tuesday. Allegedly, the cable network defamed him when it reported on allegations about the president and his representatives seeking information from Ukraine officials that would raise suspicion about the presidential campaign of Joe Biden.
This is the third or fourth
They say
lawsuit
that
that he's filed.
They don't have that much
Yeah, well,
money.
he-
They'd have to part out Wolf Blitzer to do it.
They're
Pay
gonna. He can keep trying to sue. I don't think he can sue, Phil.
Well, maybe he can sue. Well,
No.
that's right. He's a public
He's
figure.
a public figure, and not only a public figure. He's a public nuisance. No, he's a public whatever. You know, he's a
Yeah,
public
he's a government official.
Yeah. Mhm.
Well,
So
you know,
I think trying to sue somebody is just going.
that
too-
may be a publicity thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
And it may be a nuisance suit. You know, he files the suit. They got to respond.
It's a Nunes suit.
Yeah.
It's a nuisance suit. Yeah. So, anyway, excuse me. I have to wipe my eye. It's been dripping like crazy.
Who's washing dishes?
What's happening out there? Are you running a restaurant on the side, Kathleen?
Yeah.
gotta clean the dishes. What do you think about this, Josh? I mean, Devin Nunes, who is pretty much an asshole. It's not because I dislike him, but he's pretty much an asshole.
Give me just a second. I got a call coming in actually from my work. Just a second here. Sorry.
Okay.
What is the paint drying?
Paint spill on aisle 10.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I actually had to go to Sherwin-Williams today.
Did you really?
Yeah, I bought a pint. I bought a pint of paint, so that's going to keep Josh in diapers for a long time. You know?
A pint of paint? You didn't even get a gallon of paint?
I only needed a pint. It was for a customer's quarter round. We had to match it.
What?
Matched it. We were putting in a floor.
Yeah.
And we were putting quarter round. It's like a small piece of baseboard.
Yeah.
That goes against their baseboard. And I had to have it painted the same color as his baseboard.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So you got the right color?
Yeah. Incredible white.
Incredible white. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, she's back from doing the dishes, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, you know what? It sounds to me like a racist, white supremacist name for Sherwin-Williams to call that paint incredible white. You know?
When I first bought my house, I painted my walls plantation white. Home Depot. Thank you.
And so you were racist because you were putting yourself on the plantation.
Yep. And now they're Navajo white. Totally.
Navajo chop.
Yeah.
My son goes, "Mom, you're racist."
She has a home with a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It was raining here. We had some puddles.
Yeah. She has a
I
swimming
have a cement pond.
She has a
here
cement
in Tracy.
How expensive is that to keep up, though? That's not cheap, is it?
What?
A pool.
No, it's not expensive.
Really?
Solar? You got solar?
No, you know what? I used to have solar, but for some reason, the way the bottom of my pool is painted, I don't need the solar. It's during the summer, it's like 96 degrees.
It's 147 in Tracy, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but and I guess
my PG&E bill averages about $85 a month, and my house is 2,100 square feet.
Do you know what mine is every month?
What?
During the summer, it can get as high as 500.
Damn.
Gee.
Yeah.
Con Ed likes you.
Well, I got a lot of electricity in this apartment, although I've gone to mostly LED bulbs. Okay, but what costs some money during the summers when we have to turn on the air conditioning. Yeah.
Well, my house, all the bulbs are LED, and last year I had a new roof put on my house, and it's white, so it deflects.
Yeah. So but during the summer, do you have air conditioning in your place?
This last summer, because I have a white roof, I only ran my AC about 3 or 4 times. So
really,
for the average, my AC was $85 to $90 a month, and in Tracy, it gets well over 106 degrees.
Hey, listen, I'm paying Con Ed rates here in New York. You're paying PG&E rates. If PG&E is that cheap, God bless them. Let the whole state fucking burn down.
Exactly.
At those rates.
They keep raising it, and PG&E is going to go bankrupt. Well, they are bankrupt, but if the government takes it over, it'll really be fucked up.
Oh,
and
wow.
during the winter, because for the most part, my son and I are either in the family room, kitchen, and so I have my fire going right now. So my PG&E will be $85 to $90.
Wow.
My PG&E is more than that, and I'm only in a 2-bedroom apartment, and with one wall air conditioner. That I rarely use.
How about your PG&E, Kevin? Because they're all PG&E.
Mine
they're all out there in
runs
California.
Anywhere from $7 to $15 a month.
Oh, you got
Nice.
solar?
Yeah, I got solar.
And so do you own the solar, or
Yeah.
do you did they put it in and they get
No, I bought it and owned it, and it's it paid itself off about 6 months ago.
Nice.
And then I pay a true up bill of about $100 in February.
And do you sell
What's the
some of
true
that?
up bill?
It's the balance of what you sell back to the PG&E over the
Yeah.
year. So there's a balance because you never, there's some that you sell back and some that, you oversell.
Yeah.
And then they average it out over the year. And then in February, they even that all up.
Huh.
So there's some months that I don't even pay a bill. I get a 0 on my bill. And then some that are $15 and some that are $7 and some that are $5. And
Wow.
and
That's
then
pretty
over
good.
the year, it comes out, they true it up over the electricity. It's mostly gas that I'm paying for.
Tony, who pays the electric bill in your house?
Me and my brother rotate each month. Monday, month. he
Okay, so
gets
what's
it,
your
and I get it.
electric bill like? You've got Con Ed, right?
Actually, yeah, we got Con Ed. Actually, downstairs by us, we usually get on an average, I would say like 130, 140. And upstairs by my mom's apartment, which I'm in now, it's like less. It's like 100 or 90 because we have 2 air conditioners, but she's usually in the back room a lot. So I'll put a sheet up to keep the air in the back. We actually put the sheets up.
Wow.
I thought the sheet is what you put over her body.
No, I can. So it keeps the air conditioning.
Well,
on
hey,
one side of the
everybody,
apartment.
get this.
So it's probably like $120 a month on average.
Haircut, huh?
Got a haircut.
Who's that?
All 3 of them. Yeah.
I was up in the 150 range before the solar.
Yeah. It's pretty
150,
good.
170, depending on air conditioning and stuff.
That's hot in your area. In Hollister, it gets hot.
It's about
not
the
like
same
Monterey.
as in Tracy. It's
Is
about
it
the same
cheaper,
as in
Phil, with
Tracy.
the central air? I was going to ask you guys that. Because Shecky has central air. I think he said it's better than central air because you can moderate the rooms.
It's
Yeah.
both. Yeah, it's central air, but the problem is I got an upstairs, downstairs, and it's the shits.
Yeah, it also it depends on what kind of air conditioner. They've got these ones that are both heaters and air conditioners, and
Yeah,
I
that's-
forgot what they call them, but those aren't very efficient. And,
Phil,
uh,
they're ones that you can just
central
turn
area.
on, like heat this room or air condition certain rooms and have the other parts of the house not really.
It
That's
does
called
the whole
zones.
house, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a zones. It depends on how big your house is.
Yeah.
I wonder what Josh is talking
It's
about. Look at that. He's-
1,800
He's
feet.
not fired.
So
God
It-
forbid.
it's a paint emergency.
I know
Why
about
do you
it.
always think the worst, Tony? I hope he's not fired. What?
Well, I got fired in Keyfood once for knocking the bottles over. I never forget that. I was so happy to get canned, Alex. The guy just put his head down. Tony, you're gone. Thank God.
The only way you can get fired from this job you got now is your mother dying.
Oh, God forbid.
No.
Get her
Well,
home.
you wouldn't be saying that if you weren't making money off of her. Okay.
You're right. I can't deny it. I love her, but not that much. I'm
Yeah.
joking.
But-
I said, "Mom, you're the best ticket I ever had." I
What you
know,
do when
said.
if she dies, and it's gonna happen.
gonna
Tony. It's gonna
When
happen.
God wants her.
When God wants her.
Hopefully not too long.
Do you think God really
Yeah.
wants her? I mean, do you wish that on God? I mean, do you believe in
Well,
God?
he's not ready for her yet. Believe me when I
Do you
tell you.
think God wants to take your job away?
She's doing the rosaries every night. I says, Ma, he's not ready for you yet. Believe me,
Yeah.
you got time.
Yeah.
Because she'd be asking for cake, coffee. Come on, he can't handle her yet, Alex.
Rubber feet.
Rubber feet. God, rub my feet. God damn it.
I said, Daddy's not ready for you. Let him have some fun up there. Because he's had enough.
Yeah, he
know
wants a
what he
little
said
more
after
time
he
away
died?
from you. Yeah.
He goes, your mother's a good woman. Too good for me. He says, you know what? He says, she'll be asking for flowers when I'm dead in the ground. I'll have to push him off through the dirt.
Your
She is.
father
I mean,
sounds
you
like
know,
he
they
was
were like polar opposites. It was funny.
really.
You know, when my mom was in hospice and she was sick, you know, my friends would say, you know, who is there for you? And I would say, Tony. And they were like, who in the hell is Tony? And I said, well, you know what? He's one of those treasures you guys would love to steal. So his name
It
is
was hard to go through, right, Kathy? Because I went through it. It was tough. It was the hardest thing I ever had to do.
Yep. Like I was at work the other night, my sister-in-law came up to me and she just absolutely lost it. I mean, for the most part, I'm able to keep everything under wraps, but there are times where the grief is so immense that it just happens.
Yeah.
Like last night, I was a little down the other night, and I just was thinking because of the holidays. My mom was upset, so you think of the people who were gone. That's why I said when you get older, because I see what you're saying. When you lose so many people, I wasn't like bad. And when a couple of my friends were messaging me, I really didn't want to talk, and I just kind of laid down. And I said, you know what? I have so many great memories. It's a good thing. So
we see. On the other hand, my mother was 100 years old.
Yep.
And I didn't have to see her much. She was at the Jewish Home for the Aged, and I didn't have to see her much because I could go every 3 or 4 weeks, and she'd think I'd been there the day before.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything by being there, and she remembered me. That never stopped, but.
She remembered you were the guy that came every 3 weeks.
Well, no, I moved to New York. I had to take a job in New York, right? I had to survive.
Yep.
And I was worried that would be a problem because she was in that home. And I then went back and I saw her, and she thought I'd been there the day before.
Not easy to get into the Jewish Home for the Aged.
Huh?
My ex-wife's grandfather donated a shitload of property that after my ex-wife dies, the property all goes to the Jewish Home for the Aged.
Yep.
And that was one way that he thought he'd get in, but I think he died before he needed it.
They were very good to my mother. Very wonderful place. Did I take you over there? No, Kathleen.
No.
Oh yes.
I did. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It was pretty good, But what happened? I always like to tell the story because it tells you what it is with old people. Boy, am I going to be glad when this show's over tonight. I am not well. I'm still sick after a week. I can't
Maybe
believe
put a
it.
little Vicks under your nose. That's what my mother does.
Yeah.
Do you know Vic? Who's he?
No, Vicks.
Oh,
my mother
I
puts it
see.
under your
Yeah.
nose.
Okay.
So when you breathe, that.
I thought you
You
just.
got those patches now. You stick on your clothes and you can breathe there.
Well, good. I love that. I love the smell of
Vicks
Vicks.
patches.
The smell of Vicks on an old person is an oxymoron. Okay.
It's like Ben Gay, yeah.
Yeah.
I got that too, Alex.
And you like that, Jeff? When you have Vicks and all of a sudden everybody's going, yeah, the old guy's got Vicks on him.
Yeah,
it smells like
They
Vicks.
can always tell, the kids
But
stink
who
from it.
cares if it works?
Anyway.
Whatever.
Anyway.
As soon as I
What
got sick, she used to rub Vicks all over me.
No, I do with my mother. What I do with my mother is
Give him some Vicks.
I've told the story before with my mother.
Put some Vicks on him and give him a Sprite.
With my mother, what I did
7-Up.
was I got to put some drops in my eyes. With my mother, I went back. I told her, I said, I was back. I've been out in New York, and I said, no, I have to go to New York next week. And she said, "Oh, well, say hello to my mother and father."
Oh, you said that. Yeah, she knew. Remember the house?
And so I said to her, "Mom, your mother and father have been dead now for years."
Oh my.
And she started crying like they had died
mean.
yesterday.
Oh my God.
I remember you told
You
me.
had to break the news to her that they were gone. You should have just went along with it.
No, but I didn't know better.
Oh, man, you didn't realize
I
it.
just
You must
assumed,
have felt bad.
that she would just go, "Oh yes, okay, yeah, of course, Mom and Dad." No,
My wife's mother lives like right down the street from us.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see her often. Pam goes and sees her probably every day a little bit, but she has dementia also. So
Yeah.
it's kind of tough.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's things like that, So I learned that that's one thing you just never do. You never tell Mom, that her parents are dead, even though they've been dead for God. Hey, want me to tell you? I'm going to tell you something now that is blowing my fucking mind. Okay.
What's it?
So they got Ancestry.com. Okay. So Marjorie decides we should get Ancestry.com, and it comes back and tells us we're both Jewish. Boy, I really needed that. Now all of a sudden they start sending you stuff. here's this thing and this thing about your father and about your mother and so on. So now I go in there, and they've got my mother, my father, and then they have 3 children listed.
Really?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
3 children listed. Well, let me see if I can find it here.
We were going to
You
do
know,
that to my
I
dad.
have,
We were gonna
I
take a swap.
have
We didn't.
ancestry, and I have my family tree going back to 1100.
Okay, wait a
that's
minute.
cool.
Hold on a second. So let me see. Let's see if it comes up okay here. Yeah, here we go. Let me see here. Where is my? Well, wait a minute. Where's my family tree? I don't want somebody else's family tree here.
Somebody's peeing on it.
I want my family tree. Bennett Schwarzman. Okay.
Schwarzman.
Well, let me see here. I can't find it. Huh. That's interesting. Let me see here. Tree over tree. Schwarzman family tree. Okay, here we go. All right. So we go to Alexander Schwarzman. And we go search. Let's see here. Search. Does it have it that way? Yeah. Here it comes. Alexander Schwarzman, resident township, San Francisco, 1935. Says I can't find it now. But what it had was, it had me and 2 other kids who were born before me, and I was listed as their brother. I'm listed as their brother.
Wow.
You think you got a brother out there?
You didn't print it out?
I didn't print it out. No, I'm just trying to.
Maybe they killed the other 2.
Tree search. No.
Well, you know what? A lot of times with these trees, there's a lot of mixed up bullshit.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think that may be what happened.
Yeah.
It hasn't.
I
My
wish I
mother
could get my
died
grandma.
in California at 100 years of age and so on. But I'm trying to see here if they have where they have the rest of
Sure, it wasn't his brother.
No,
you know,
no.
Exactly.
His brother died many, many, many years earlier.
or cousins.
But they had 2 people listed, but both with kind of oh God, I wish I could find it. I wish it would come up. It something else came up here.
I wish I could have did
You know
my
what?
grandma.
Like,
But she came
my
over.
uncle's side of the family were Castelluccios from Italy.
Yeah,
Oh,
And once they left Italy and came to America,
yeah.
They were the
you know,
Smiths.
all of a sudden they disappear.
my grandmother was adopted from Italy. She got taken from a family. They gave her up. She never knew her mother. So she got taken in, and then they came over. We wish we could have gotten her to see how far back from, because she never knew any of her family from Italy, from Naples.
And
So
what
that's
was
like a
her
whole,
last
like,
name
generation
from
gone.
here?
Okay.
What was her last name from here?
I have to ask. It was Macho's. It was with an M. My sister knows it. I can't pronounce it. It's a long Italian name.
McDougal.
I got it. My sister knows.
No.
She could have swapped her, but that was like 2001. She died.
Yeah, this isn't listing anything. The ones I'm looking at now, but it did have a thing where it said I had a brother and a sister, and I'm
That's
going.
nice.
You know,
It's
I was
just a tease.
no. I think it's a mistake.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a
Yeah.
mistake. It's got to be. I mean, I've never heard of my father ever being married before my mother, and then it said my mother was the mother of these children too.
Oh, okay. So it's a mistake. Yeah, that might be getting.
Yeah. Anybody else here do Ancestry.com at all?
Well, you know what? I'm going to research that, Alex.
My sister used it, so she
because
liked.
I have many of friends and family that. Okay, so I'm the keeper of our family tree. So I have it going back to 1100 in England. So from 1100 on, I have it. So I'm going to look up Schwarzman and I'll let you know if I find anything on it.
Yeah.
So maybe one of these other kids could buy your mom that headstone she's been.
Oh, shut the fuck
Oh,
up!
that's cool. Yeah.
You know, that's something I feel very guilty about. And now that I'm facing my mortality, I'm going, what if I die and I don't put up a tombstone?
Well, they can at least split it with you 3 ways.
Well, you know, I figured it was kind of selfish because they didn't get a third plot for me. You know, I mean, where am I going to be buried? Oh, wait a minute.
You're due
for
a
it.
military burial.
Alex, can't you go with your mom and dad?
No, I
Arlington
can't.
National
There's no room.
Cemetery.
There's no room.
See, there's room in my dad's plot. We made sure.
Yeah, I know. That's what parents do when they think ahead.
I'm
Hey,
going
do
with.
you ever see these plots where they put one on top of the other?
Yeah, I was just
You
gonna
know?
say,
Yeah.
What,
they do
what?
that multiple times, not
Yeah.
just one or two.
Yeah.
Well,
Alex, I'll
Okay.
take care of it.
you'll take care of it for me? Okay. Because, listen,
Yes.
a girlfriend wants to cremate me.
Yes, I'm good.
Sunday or
You're what? You're what?
next week?
Yes.
Hey, you know what's really
What do you mean,
creepy?
yes. I don't
My-
want to be cremated. Who knows if I don't need this body?
My ex-wife has a mausoleum. Her family
Yeah.
have a mausoleum, and it's big. You know, it's got like room for 50, and it's really creepy. I mean, it's all marble and
It wasn't until I got to New York, really, that I had live reads on a regular basis. Well, live reads are those commercials that you do live. They have the copy there and you read them, okay? And one of the first live reads I ever had, and this one always got me every time I read it, it started out, why settle for an ordinary earth burial when you can get an above ground mausoleum?
Yeah.
And I had to read that with a straight fucking face,
God.
okay?
you weren't allowed to fool around.
No,
Yes,
no,
but the-
no, wasn't allowed to fool
Yeah,
around.
little house.
That wasn't until I got to San Francisco. And
that's
advertisers had to
creepy.
know that I would fool around with their ads.
Yeah.
Like
That's creepy.
my favorite ad was for the Vermont teddy bears. And
Yes.
I did one day where I said, yes, the Vermont teddy bear. There's nothing like the Vermont teddy bear to say to your girlfriend, I'm sorry I had sex with your friend.
Hey, you know, on the mausoleum one, you couldn't say, "Hey, people are dying to get into this place."
No, Phil.
Bada boom.
I wasn't a hack
One or
like
two
that.
bedroom.
Hold on a second. I have to blow my nose. Talk.
All right.
Yeah, the work emergency's over if you want to get back to disparaging Republicans or
Did they
something.
clean up
Yeah.
the paint spill?
They had a massive power outage and they're having problems.
Where?
Oh,
It's your
In
paint.
Ohio.
At the plant. Apparently, one of the big lines that feeds the back of the plant, the 13,000 volt line, something happened to one of them. It fell off and was laying out there on the ground and caught the grass on fire. And they got it fixed, but anytime the power goes out in a place like that, you're going to have problems for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
And when they turn it back on, it hits so hard, it messes all kinds of stuff. They got a lot of problems. So.
Yeah, you gotta slowly turn it back on.
Yeah.
You gotta let the power company know that you gotta turn it back on too.
Well, they had to turn it back on because it was outside on the pole, and then that big line there's a great big switch gear for that one outside. So I'm sure they had to turn it off, and then it's a huge one. So when they turn that one back on, that's like the full face gear and arc flash suit, all that. I'm sure that was a big.
That was some stuff that we had to call the
turned-
power company and tell them that we were turning it
Yeah.
back on.
So
Who turned
they
the
got a-
screws on that wire?
They-
You know,
they got a
to
few
put it
problems,
on.
Start dipping the city.
Now, since we only have about 5 minutes left, and that way we can keep Phil to a minimum, let's talk about for a second, because he mentioned it, Joe Biden's situation with one of his people in his town halls or whatever.
Oh, wow.
Just the liar one or the fat one?
Oh,
Because there was also one that
liar
the liar one, he challenged to a push-up match or something.
did he?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. I heard him just get very mad and
Yeah.
say, you know,
What happened? I wasn't watching nothing today.
All
so-
that's been debunked. It was one of these people, one of his town halls. What about you and your son and the improprieties and what you did with the
Yeah,
Ukraine?
that was it. Yeah.
And he said, that's all been debunked, and I won't even talk about that, you know? Then Nancy Pelosi got really pissed today.
Oh, that was
But he called her a bad Catholic.
What it was, this guy was from, they said Fox News, but he was really from Sinclair Broadcasting, the big right wingers. And he asked her the question, well, how do you feel about that? People have said that you hate
You hate.
Donald Trump. And she went into just a rage and just said,
Really?
I am a staunch Catholic. We are taught not to hate people.
Oh.
I don't hate Donald Trump. In fact, I have on many an occasion prayed for him. And she said, I don't like that, and it's wrong of you to say, that I would hate Donald Trump. I don't hate Donald Trump.
I just hate that he's in office.
Well, you can dislike, she dislikes what he does and how he does it, and perhaps even thinks that he is misusing his office. But that doesn't mean you hate the person,
Yep.
And so I think she had a right to go after him. But then they came back. I think it was Trump that came back with a tweet or something about her having a hissy fit or something, and it was so sexist. Like a woman gets this way. What? He should write. Was she having her period? Oh, she hasn't had periods any longer.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then the other one was I'm looking for it. I can't find it right now, but Joe Biden. He was the guy said you put your son in a job in the Ukraine and so forth.
Same guy.
Oh, it's the same guy?
Yes.
Is that the guy he fat shamed too?
They say he fat shamed him, but he was he was a fat fuck.
Well, yeah, but they usually are. But
I absolutely believe in fat shaming, and here's why I believe in it: that people who are fat are living an unhealthy lifestyle, which is going to kill them sooner rather than later.
Well, maybe it's an overactive thyroid.
Wait a minute. Well, I'll give them that. Okay. But the point is, then go to a doctor and take the pills for the thyroid. The point is that when you sit around and go, no, you don't look fat, and the person, is like, looks like the fat lady at the circus, you're not doing them any good by not fat shaming them.
I don't really understand how it was classified
if there was no Walmart, there'd be no place for them to go.
I don't understand how it was classified as he fat shamed him anyway. I mean, he didn't say the guy was fat or anything.
Called him fats or something.
He did?
No, the guy said that he was too old to be the president of the United States, and he said, I'm not too old. I'm in really good shape. As a matter of fact, if you want, we can drop down and do a push-up contest right now. And, I mean...
He also said,
how was that saying
you're not too old to vote for me, or something like that.
Yeah.
And what the other guy said, you're a fat ass.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There was one other thing that was like that I'm trying to think about.
I just told him he's full of malarkey, corn pop.
Well,
Get off my lawn.
This no malarkey tour is really a bad idea. I mean,
I think him running is a bad idea.
80 years old, and I don't. I'm 80 years old, and I don't use the term malarkey. Okay.
He wins the anachronistic award of the day.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel sent his guy out into the street to ask people on the street, do you know what malarkey means? And one guy,
cattywampus.
The last guy.
Nobody knew what it was, but the last guy did say, yeah, it means bullshit.
Bullshit.
How about one other thing? How about in Iran, 1,000 people were gunned down because of protests. They were protesting, and the government turned on their people and killed 1,000 people today.
1,000 people?
1,000.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Sounds like a bunch of malarkey.
Sounds like a bunch of malarkey. Let me see.
That was on the news this morning.
1,000
people killed in Iran.
Dead in Iran.
Protesters.
Iran. Well, I don't have to put all that in it. It'll either come up or it won't come up. Over 1,000 possibly killed amid Iran protests.
That sounds cattywampus.
U.S. says 1,000 killed in protests. Okay, so I don't necessarily believe that.
And the U.S. is moving 7,000 troops to the Middle East.
Well, it's a little late, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but with this all these things that are coming up, and the governments are turning. There may be an overthrow at Iran.
I thought he was pulling everybody out of that part of the world.
Well, he wasn't putting them in Syria, but he was putting them in the Middle East.
No, he was pulling them out of the, excuse me, folks, out of the Middle East as well.
Yeah, well, when you have 1,000 people, innocent people or civilians killed by their own government, there's obviously something going on.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
and it's smart to move some troops there because there might be a real atrocity. I don't know that the government of Iran has much respect for life.
Well, neither does this country. So,
well, they're not gunning down 1,000 people in the streets.
Not gunning down people, but they are killing people.
Oh yeah,
Trump didn't want to be the world police.
Well,
he didn't want to be the world police.
Can't let these atrocities happen.
No, he doesn't like atrocities to happen in a country that he's got something against.
Money.
Meanwhile, he lets atrocities go on in many countries that he has nothing against, like Russia, for example.
Oh, so this is a whataboutism?
No, this isn't a whataboutism.
You want to discuss the positive influence of sending the troops?
This is not whataboutism. This is be fucking consistent, you fuckface.
You can't be consistent. The world isn't consistent.
Excuse me, Sean. I didn't mean to say fuck.
Hey, where's Tony?
Where's
Tony?
Yeah,
he's letting us.
He got one of those. He got one of those urges.
Maybe his work had an emergency too.
Yeah.
Checking the
comic book
bunions.
emergency.
No, he had a sudden urge to smother his mother. So.
Oh no, Sean thinks it's hysterical that you say fuck.
Really?
Yes, thank you. Oh yeah, he just said it.
Boy, it's easy to get a laugh out of him, isn't it?
Totally.
Yeah. Did you? I bet you raised this kid as goofy as you are.
As goofy as I am, as goofy as you are, as goofy as we all are.
Goofy is as Goofy does.
Yes.
How about
Yes.
Saudi Aramco? It's going to be a $1 trillion plus business.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing?
How many?
1 trillion.
Huh?
Business is worth that. $1 trillion. Who could ever have fathomed $1 trillion 30, 50 years ago?
I saw a movie that was made in the 30s in which a guy said, "Come with me and I'll earn you thousands. I'll make you thousands of thousands."
Right.
And I went, "That's $1 billion, you motherfucker!" But they didn't have that concept when they made the movie.
Yes.
Remember what was that movie? I want a ransom of $1 million.
Exactly. Exactly.
The mini-me.
I made it through the show. I hope I feel better tomorrow than I do right now. It seems that all colds get worse in the evening. So, anyway, let's play the theme. There's our jaunty little theme, and we're going to dance ourselves off. Come on, everybody do this. Come on, everybody do this. Everybody do this. Nobody wants to do this. Boy, you people are not fun at all. Tony's going to be surprised when he comes back and there's going to be nobody here. Anyway, thank you, Kathleen. I appreciate it. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Jeff. And thank you very much, Kevin. God, it's been fun tonight.
And I had free tickets tonight for the Hieroglyphics, some group at the UC Theater, and I chose to be here.
Well, gee, thank you. We really appreciate that, Phil. Anyway, that's it. Why don't all of you give a big wave goodbye to the folks out there in the television land? There we go. I'll give a big wave goodbye, too. There they go, folks. There they go. Okay, that's it for our program for tonight. Let me get rid of these people, these fine people. The reason I got to get rid of them is so that I can make these Skype lines available for our next program, which is Jack Bishop and the Intersection. That's coming up next over GabNet. I will be here again tomorrow night if I don't die from this cold. And we'll be here at right after Damian Chaplin with the Exchange at 9:30. We'll be here at 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.